Hey everybody, welcome to the Michael Meier Show. We have a crazy show for you today. We have Ryan Serhant, $1 Million Listing, who is going to be joining us soon. We're going to be waiting a little bit for him to get here. In the meantime, I have a few amazing things that I want to share with you about what we have coming up in the show. The next few shows are going to be like, whoa, crazy. We have Tom Ferry is going to be joining us on our show. We have Chris Smith. If you haven't read the conversion code, if you don't know about the conversion code, you should read it. He's going to be joining us on the show. Just some really amazing guests that are going to be coming on. And I'm so excited to be just bringing you some great education and some great talent and some great advice. You know, you guys all know already by now that the Michael Meier Show is all about helping real estate agents and entrepreneurs grow an epic business for themselves. That's what we're about. And every show we bring on guests that are going to help you grow and build your business. So who's going to be better than talking to us about branding than our guest that's going to be on the show today, than Ryan. So that is something that we're going to be talking about today, his branding, getting more deals done. It's going to be fantastic. So let's get this show going. It's the Michael Meier Show, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Welcome back to the Michael Meier Show. Are you ready to blow your mind? Because I'm telling you, I am. I am so stoked, so excited about our guest that we have on the show with us today. Today we have Ryan Serhant. You guys all know of Ryan Serhant. If you don't know of him, you should know him. He's just an amazing guy, an amazing broker, someone that has a crazy, amazing brand. You know him for $1 Million Listing. Without further ado, let me introduce him. Hi, Ryan. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for joining us on the show. Thank you for taking a moment out of your busy schedule to help educate real estate agents out there in the industry to build a business. I want to just trace back a little bit, you know, kind of how this whole thing started. I was with you in Chicago a bunch of weeks ago, and you were nice enough. We're sitting there backstage, and I just came up to you and said, "Hey, would you mind going on Facebook Live and doing a quick little interview?" And like within a few minutes, you shared some great knowledge with people. And so thank you again for coming on and sitting down with us for the next 20 minutes or so and sharing some further education with our audience.
No problem.
So before we jump into the topic, and the topic today is about the secret to building a brand and doing more deals, can you give everybody a little bit of your history, your background? For those who are under a rock and don't know, share with us who you are, what you do.
For those under a rock, sure. So my name is Ryan Serhant, and I'm a real estate broker based here in New York City. But I wasn't always from New York. I was born in Texas. I grew up a little bit in Long Island, and then moved to outside Boston on the North Shore. And then I went to college in upstate New York. And then I came down to New York City in 2006 to be an actor and to do theater. And I quickly got onto a soap opera called As the World Turns. And then they quickly killed me off. And then I had no more money. And then I was like, what do I do? Do I get a survival job? Do I go home to Colorado where my parents had then moved to? Do I go to Boston? I have no idea what I want to do. Do I become a lawyer? Because that's what everybody who goes to college does. I then said, you know what? I'm not going to do any of that. And I had a friend who said, get your real estate license. It's the greatest thing in the world. You can make your own hours. It's going to be awesome. And then you can do all the acting, little fun stuff you want to do on the side. So I said, okay. And I got my license, and I started on September 15th, 2008, which is the day the Lehman Brothers filed for bankruptcy, which was basically the starting point of the subprime mortgage collapse. And so knowing that now is like, whoa, how did you get into the business at that time? But then it didn't really affect me because I had no money. So it's not like I was losing anything, and I didn't know what was going on. I just knew that I was posting ads for rentals on Craigslist, and then I needed to meet someone on the corner of 49th and Madison and take them to an apartment, and hopefully they would rent it and I could make my rent money. And that's really how the business started for me. And I would take people, I had no idea who they were, and I would meet them on the street, or I'd meet them on Craigslist, or I would meet them at the gym, kind of the only places I knew where to meet people in New York City because I wasn't from here. And I would sell them as apartments on the buy side. I only places I knew where to sell side a little bit because one of my buyers asked me to sell and co-ops at 3 Hanover Square for $399,000. And then pretty quickly after that, there was an open casting call for $1 Million Listing New York on Bravo. And that was in March of 2010. And I went to the Hudson Hotel with like 3,000 brokers. And then 6 months later, they came and they followed a few of us around the city. And then a few months later from there, they said, we narrowed it down to 4 of you. And we're going to film all 4 of you for the first season of $1 Million Listing New York. And whoever sucks the most is going to get it. And that's what happened. And now I'm here.
That is awesome.
That's a little bit of my background. And then that really was a metaphorical shotgun to the head to become a real estate broker and to focus on any kind of plan B. All of a sudden I had no net, right? Because my net wasn't there. It was either, if I don't do this, I'm gonna have no money and I'm gonna be publicly embarrassed for the rest of my life as a real estate broker who failed on that real estate broker reality TV show. And that was like, absolutely not. So I have to be successful. I have to get this done because I don't want people to feel embarrassed for me. And that was it. Pure fear drove me at the beginning and still does to this day.
Let me ask you a question. Where in Texas are you from?
Houston.
From Houston. My wife's from like a tiny town in Texas, Sherman, Texas.
Yeah, no, Sherman. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit in Chicago, I think. Yeah, I got family in Texas. I was just in Austin for Easter. It's a great state. It's a big state.
So, all right. So jumping forward now, you got this amazing brand for yourself. And let me first define who it is that we're talking to right now in the audience, right? We have real estate agents across the board that tune in, but oftentimes I try to talk and educate to the newer agent, maybe somebody that's new to the business, been in the business maybe for a year, just getting their feet wet and trying to figure it out. And obviously good to build a brand. What's some advice? What are some secrets, some advice, some things that you could tell them to say, hey, this is what I would do or you should do to go out there and start building your brand?
Well, listen, I think you have to work within your environment. I think too many people, too many brokers I talk to, they try to emulate people that they're not, and they try to emulate neighborhoods that they don't live in. And they want to be something that is this idea of this big brand broker that just is never going to work for the location that you're in. And yesterday, actually, I was giving a speech in Detroit, and this broker comes up to me, and Detroit is known for a couple different things. It's known for bankruptcy, right? It's known for the auto industry. It's known as being kind of a foodie town. It's also known for casinos. It's a big casino town. There's casinos everywhere. And this broker comes up to me, and she gives me her business card. Everyone's giving me business cards, and she gives me this. Can you see this? Right? There you go. Yeah. There's a little plug for her. She gives me a poker chip. It's got her face on it as her business card. It's got her website and her phone number. And on the back of it, it says, don't gamble with your real estate needs. Contact Jennifer Loeb. It was like, whoa, that is someone who's taking advantage of really what their city is known for, and they're owning it. You know, they're owning it. It's like, okay, we're not going to hide the fact that we're a casino town. I'm going to give you poker chips as a business card. And I don't know where the other business cards are that I got yesterday. I still have this one, and that's what business cards are for. So I think you need to own who you are, and you need to own what you are. And you need to own what you sell. You need to make the best of it, and you can do that a lot on social media, the same way you do, the same way that I do. And what I tell people a lot too is it comes down to consistency, right? With consistency comes success. You cannot have continued success without consistency, and a lot of people want immediate results, right? Just like I was when I was a rental broker. I took someone out, they had the renter or they didn't. If they wanted to think about it, I didn't understand. It's like, what do you want to think about? Just take it right now. I need to buy groceries. What's wrong with you? But you need to consistently post, right? You need to say, okay, I'm going to be the greatest. I'm going to be the greatest broker who sells houses that you can play soccer in. That's my thing. Okay, so you're going to find that niche. That's your thing, and you're going to make that what people know you about. And then from there, you're going to meet clients that want to do other stuff, and that's where you're going to have your residual bonus business. So little things like that, if you focus on, success begets success, and you will have an amazing career.
That's fantastic. If I could dig in a little bit further. So basically you're talking about, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're talking about basically finding a niche and owning it, right? Mm-hmm. So what are some examples of either things you've seen agents do or that you'd recommend agents do, type of focuses that other agents have, or like, I'll give you an example from outside of New York City, right? So I know that there's this guy in California who's super into luxury cars. And so he goes in California where you can put a car in front of a house, and he takes these pictures and these videos of houses with beautiful cars. And then he Facebook targets and sponsors to people who are interested in luxury cars, right? Or maybe who like a luxury car dealership. And people look at those posts and all that kind of stuff because they want to see the car. And then all of a sudden they see, oh, there's real estate here. And all of a sudden they're connected with him.
Sure.
So that's like I use that example of, an outside New York City type of thing. What are some things that maybe come to mind that you've seen agents do in New York City, or I don't know, in general, I guess, because people all over the country watch the show?
I mean, something that I've always been envious of are brokers who have kids and brokers who have dogs. Because a kid, like a baby or multiple kids or a dog, those are immediate ways to call attention to yourself because everyone likes babies and dogs. So there's a lot of brokers out there with puppies, with dogs. You can take listing photos with your dog in every single one of them and make that your Instagram thing. You're not going to put it in the professional listing photos, but every photo you have of every apartment, when you're announcing it on social media, have your little dog sitting there on the kitchen countertop. That way it's something that people consistently remember and they consistently look forward to seeing, oh, I wonder what house or what apartment she's going to be selling next and where she's going to put her dog this time. And that all of a sudden becomes a thing. Same thing with babies. Now, I wouldn't say put babies in photos and start promoting them out there, but I have a lot of agents who work for me, a lot of agents that work in the city who, through their kids, they meet a massive network that otherwise I wouldn't be able to meet. Like, I can't just go to playgrounds by myself and try to pick up clients.
Yeah.
It's really, really weird, right? If I'm like, hey, you guys need more space, like that's a weird thing to say.
It's like a whole canopy while you're sitting there looking at the kids. Yeah, a little weird.
Yeah, exactly. So if I have a kid and it's like a joke and you're playing around, parents and other parents are great sources of referral sources. What I see a lot is that real estate agents who aren't as successful get nervous about it because they don't have confidence in themselves. And so they don't want to promote themselves that way. And they almost expect business to come to them. And then when it doesn't, they get frustrated and then they quit. And that's why the turnover ratio in this business is incredibly high. But like I said before, no matter what it is, no matter what you have as your little calling card, whether it's dogs, babies, the fact that you carry a tennis racket around all the time, maybe that's your thing, or the fact that there's a broker in the city, Danny Davis from town, right? He rides his bike everywhere. People know him as the guy on the bike. He rides that thing everywhere. It's ridiculous with no helmet. Maybe dangerous, but that's also his thing. And then you just own it. You got to own it. And if you own it and you're consistent with it, people will remember you for it, just like they do any other types of advertising.
There was another agent in the city. She used to go on her Vespa all the time. She used to go Space in the City or something like that. And she used to go on her Vespa all the time. And everybody would always know when the Vespa's there, she's going to get a listing. And it was
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that, that kind of stuff works. If you own it and you do it, it's like anything. People say they're going to start working out at the first of every year, right? January is the busiest time ever in any gym. February, no one's there because they try it and they're like, they go back to their ways. They go back to your ways. As long as you don't go back to your ways and you put in your calendar reminders to do this and to do that, and you create a buddy system with a neighboring real estate agent that's in your same position next to you, something like that, to set expectations, to give yourself a reason why every single day, then you will do it and you'll stick with it. And then you'll start seeing results, and results create addiction. Like, drug addicts don't get addicted to the act of taking drugs. They get addicted to the results of what happens when you take those drugs. The same thing with real estate. You get addicted to doing deals. You become a deal junkie. The more deals you do, the more you're going to want to do and the more successful you're going to be.
Yeah, that's really great. Something I want everybody to pay attention. Ryan's obviously sharing a lot of really great stuff, but like a little gem that's there is the buddy system, because you can, he's telling you what to do. He's giving you advice on how to focus on a niche and things that you need to do. Somebody sitting next to you, if you have an accountability partner, if you have a coach that's going to make sure that you do it, then it just doesn't become theory. It becomes practical things that you're doing that achieve success. So I think that's like understated. That's a really big deal, a really huge deal. I'll give an example. It ties in over here. I don't know. I must have signed up for something in New Jersey once. I don't know what. And now I keep on getting these emails from some real estate agent in New Jersey It's something called Mamas, something Mamas. I don't know how I got on that. It's for like, women with kids. And she's always sending out these emails about things you can do, moms can do with their kids in Jersey. And I don't subscribe to it because I think it's brilliant what she's doing. And then she's like, and then she jumps into, and if you want to leave your kid at home, this is a great restaurant to go to take a break. Sure. And it just, she owns that. I think of mothers in New Jersey, I think of her.
Yeah, there you go. Right, there you go. It's like the dentists who, consistently give out the toothpaste and this, and they've got their little funny dental cards. Think of dentists, you think of that person. That's what I tell everyone on my team. You've got to be a Meier. That when people think real estate, they need to think you. Wherever it is that you sell. If you're the best broker in the financial district, make sure that everyone knows you as that broker so they come to you. But it's going to take time. That's where people fail, is that they think everything's going to happen overnight. But I mean, I've only now, and I started in 2008, so 2017, so almost 9 years, 8.5 years later, do I feel like I've kind of hit some traction, right? And that's 8.5 years later. So it takes time, and I have a TV show. So that has been super helpful, and I'm very, very aware of that fact.
Yeah. So a new agent, they're a year in the business. Your advice is, number one, realize it's a long-term game.
Yeah.
Have a buddy system to keep yourself accountable to what you want to do. Stay focused on something. Don't just go all over the place. Stay focused on something. Now, let's say you're an agent that's already in the business and you've been doing this for a few years. You're doing a bunch of deals here and there, but you want to take your business to another level, right? How important do you think it is to have a personal brand, to have an identity, to, we're kind of discussing a little bit, but, as somebody builds and grows their career, what are some challenges maybe that you found that you need to overcome? Trying to think of what things you might be able to impart to those people.
Sure. I mean, selling real estate is like selling anything else, which means you're selling yourself, right? Now, anybody can walk into an open house and love it, and the price is right, space looks great, and they can buy it. It has nothing to do with you. You were nice, you opened the door, you turned the lights on, you handled the contracts, you saw it through to closing, and that's what we do this business for. But for all of the other deals that build longevity and success over a long-term career, you need a personal brand so that people remember you. For all the people that walk into that open house, hate it, and then leave, you still want them to come back to you. For all those buyers that told you that they were going to make offers and then disappeared in the cover of darkness, you want them to still remember you and come back to you. Or those people that follow you on social media, you don't even know who they are. You want them to remember you. So whether you have a beard, right? This beard is something that I grew by accident and then got stuck with. So we started filming $1 Million Listing Season 6. And before I knew it, we were doing a listing appointment for something that was the season premiere and a listing appointment for something that was the season finale. And then I got stuck and they said you couldn't shave until the end of June. And that was in August of last year. But now this beard has become a thing. People talk about it. It's in my office. It's like the lucky beard. It's so weird. But it's something that I own, right? So whether you're bearded or whether you have blue hair or whether you have your little dog or whatever it is, own it and make it part of your personal brand so that it's simple for people to remember. People need to remember you by something simple and typically something visual. That's why people who give out little poker chips, right, with little faces on them, that's something visual, simple. Even if you throw it away, you remember that that's the one who gave you the poker chip thing. What was her name? It was this. You type it into Google, her website will pop up. Boom, there you go. I don't know how much that poker chip costs, but that just got you a client. And if they buy something, it totally paid for itself.
Yeah, that's really fantastic. So,
hey guys, just so you know, I'm looking at the comments and we have a few questions. Kevin wants to know, should a new agent trying to build their brand from scratch focus on sales during their first year? What do you recommend?
I think every new agent should work underneath someone else. I don't understand why people get into the business and we just talked about the buddy system, but they think they can do it all on their own, right? People assume that being a real estate broker or real estate agent should be simpler, should be easy, and they don't have to put in the time or put in the work. But the same way a doctor goes to school for 10 years and then works under another doctor, then works under another doctor before they can actually finally start doing surgeries on their own, real estate is kind of the same way. It's just sped up and you're not taking someone's lives into your hands, but in a way you kind of are because you're advising them on what is probably the biggest financial decision they're ever going to make. And they might make it again only a few times in their whole life. So in that first year, I don't think it's about rentals or sales or this price point or that price point. You need to find somebody that you can buddy up with and and you need to follow them and work with them. And hopefully that person is a senior agent, and be cheap. Don't go to them and say, hey, I'll work with you, but I want 50% of everything. No, that's stupid. Why would anyone take you on? And when you're a successful agent, you're not going to do that for somebody else. Be cheap. Tell them you want 5% of every deal, 10% if they'll do it, right? Help them with all the listing appointments, the open houses, everything. Say, I'm going to be your assistant, and you don't even have to pay me up front. That's awesome. No payroll taxes, no this, no that. I'm going to pay you at a commission out of the deals, and I'm going to help you sell. That's a good deal for a senior agent that might actually now need a little help. That's what I would do, hands down, every single time if you're a new agent for like the first 3 years.
That's really good advice.
Now need a little help.
That's really good advice. So, Ryan, I know that you're very tight for time here, and I want to thank you very much for jumping on the show. If there's anything else that you want to share with our audience, I feel like we could talk for like 2 hours, but I think whoever's watching the show, watch it over and over again, because there's a lot of wisdom that was shared over here, and it's really valuable. If you have any questions now or later, put it in the comments. Make sure, because if you have any questions, I'll make sure to answer it. I'm sure Ryan will answer questions that you have that come up later. He's a very generous guy like that, and he's there to help. So we're all here to help. We all want to make you guys better, improve your business, improve the industry, improve what's going on. So do keep that in mind. Ryan, is there anything else that you want to share with anybody before we sign off here? And thank you so much.
I would say to stay hungry, right? Every market right now is incredibly tough. In New York City, we have a lot of inventory, and people are taking a lot of time to make decisions. Like I said, I was in Detroit yesterday. They have no inventory. The frustration they have there is that the average price point is between $400,000 and $500,000, and on every house that goes to market, there's 16 offers and 16 bidders, and that's a whole different type of frustration. But keep your head up and stay hungry, and remember that this business takes at least 3 years to get your feet wet, where you can actually start doing real deals. So don't quit in those first 3 years if you like people. And that's it. That is my biggest advice. People quit too early in this business without realizing their full potential. And I'm sure there's a lot of great real estate brokers out there who have now gone on to be lawyers. And it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, that is really, really awesome advice. All right, cool. Jennifer, thank you so much for co-hosting the show with me, as always.
Of course.
And we will make sure to be feeding these questions as it goes forward. Ryan, once again, thanks a lot, man. You're the man. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being part. Thanks for playing it forward. We look forward to having you get on the show sometime. So talk to you soon.
Watch Million Dollar Listing tonight at 9 o'clock.
Boom.